like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall, fear I weighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
What is going on? How is everybody doing? Welcome to the Serie A review. We're going to be going over the Serie A. We're going to be going over what is known as the best league in the world. Always been the best league in the world. Always will be the best league in the world. Even when the league is suffering, it'll still be the best. We got Nathan with us. Nathan, can you hear me? Well, Nathan's audio is completely messed up, so I'm going to mute him until he fixes that. But I hope everybody's doing great wherever you are around the world, whether it's the morning, afternoon, or night. I would say Forza Milan to you, kind sir, and Forza Serie A. What a second round we had. What a second round we had. Napoli 6 points, Inter 6, Roma 6, Juventus tied, Milan tied, Atalanta with 4 points, Fiorentina with 4 points, Lazio with 4 points. So the 8 sisters are still up there, occupying all 8 positions. None of them have really slipped. If we want to talk about what was the most impressive team right away, we can say that right away. For me, the two most impressive teams were Napoli and Inter. Napoli because they have this incredible player called Vicha Verasquilla who scored two incredible goals, out of this world goals, both of them. One of them was just pure genius. The other one was just like making meme out of defenders. But we'll talk about that later. Inter had an incredible dominant performance against Spezia. If we look at the stats of that game, it is incredibly insane. Roma, unlucky Zaniolo, Juventus, Milan. We'll talk about all these teams in a second. But also we will be tackling the situation with AC Milan, since this is an AC Milan channel, and we need to be tackling the AC Milan situation right now. And once we get to Milan, we'll be talking about all of that. So let's get straight into it. First thing we're going to look at are the fixtures and results, and I'm going to give you my 2 cents about these games and what happened. Let's start right away. Torino-Lazio 0-0. Immobile, a player that I said was going to
Oh, can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
There's a lot of noise coming from your
Yeah,
from
give me
your
1 second. Is that better?
there it is. Perfect.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened. My noise isolation decided to just go off.
Nice, nice, nice. So we're looking at the games. We're starting to go through the analysis of the games. So first game we're going to look at is Torino Lazio. Nathan, what did you think of the Serie A this round? Pretty interesting stuff, eh?
Yeah, it was. What was really interesting was that we went from the first week being the league with the most goals, just left and right, to the next week where barely any goals are scored.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you remember the first week, there was like games that were like 4-2, 5-2, 3-0, things like that. And then this week, everything was like 0-0, 1-0, 1-1. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Nice, good observation. I didn't notice that, but yeah, how things can change, right? Our first day of the Serie A was quite anomalous. There was no ties; it was all wins or
Right.
losses, basically, which was the first time that happened in 50 years. You know, some crazy stat like that. So it was definitely quite an anomalous first game, but yeah, a lot of
So,
goals.
and to that, I want to say, for the people who keep saying that the Serie A's defense isn't that good, yada 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 yada, I now need you to come on here and say, well, damn, maybe the league is harder than we thought it was.
Oh
Got
yeah,
to
yeah.
go both ways, man. You got to go both ways.
There's some people in our WhatsApp group that are just like, I don't even know what to say to those guys. But anyway, let's get to the games. Let's get to the game. So Torino Lazio, uneventful game. Not much
Yeah.
to say about that. Immobile, I'm sure a player that a lot of people want to see in their are using in their fantasy, did not get them the points they usually get. If you look at the stats, Torino actually had most of the ball possession. Total shots, Torino 10, Lazio 7. Shots on target, only one for Torino, two for Lazio. So essentially,
This is an
passing
even
accuracy.
game.
It was a pretty even game, yeah.
Yeah.
83% passing accuracy from Torino. Those are pretty good numbers. Anything above 80 is usually good. Ball touches, strikers. Look at this, guys. Lazio non-existent when you compare the balls touched by strikers in comparison to Torino. Torino 139. So Torino starting off, they did start off with a loss, sure, but a tie to Lazio is not a bad result for them. It's not a bad
No.
result for them, but it is a bad result for Lazio. It is a bad result for Lazio because Lazio, being one of the 8 sisters, not the 7 sisters anymore, should be getting points from them. Anything you want to say about this game?
No, I mean it was pretty even game. Um, I thought I didn't think last year we're gonna come out and not be as dominant. Um, it could be a sign that maybe they also need to work on a few things. But I think Torino's going to be a tough team this year. So I mean,
Oh yeah,
it's a good result.
Yeah, I think so. I think Torino is going to be a tough team for sure. Next game is Udinese Salernitana, another 0-0 draw. Very dry for the first two games. Udinese Salernitana, very dry. Salernitana, excellent result for Salernitana away. While for Udinese, not a great result. Probably they want to get some points off of Salernitana. These are the kind of points that Udinese needs in order to stay in the Serie A. To take from Salernitana. Well, these are the kind of points that Salernitana will cherish at the end of the season. This 1 point could make a big difference for them. So good job to Salernitana for getting the tie. Look at this. Salernitana with most of the ball possession away from home. Total shots, 17 from Salernitana, only 15 from Udinese. Shots on target, 6 for Salernitana. 2 for Udinese. It looks like Salernitana honestly deserved to win this game from if you look at these stats. Incredible stuff. Ball touches 172, quite even offensively. Midfield, much so midfield. The Salernitana midfield was definitely the big difference in this game. So good result for Salernitana. Well done to them. Well done to them. They earned a very difficult point in a difficult stadium. Anything you want to say about Udinese Salernitana?
It's a result I think I kind of expected. I think Udinese are. I think they're like declining each year, or it's like a slow decline each year. So I expected this type of scoreline.
Got you. Okay. All right. Really, I would have expected Udinese to do a little bit better against Salernitana, but Udinese is a team that to me makes no sense. I don't even know why they exist, to be honest with you. It's a team that makes no sense to me. Like, what is
They
the
exist to give Milan heartache. That's what they exist for.
That's pretty much all they do. It's like it's a team that has no purpose in the Serie A. Zero purpose, no ambition. No ambition. I don't get it. Let's go to Inter Spezia. Interesting game, Inter Spezia. I did see the majority of it, and I gotta say that Inter was super dominant in this game, and the result actually does not reflect the game. This game could have ended even 7 or 8-0 for I don't know. But Lautaro Martinez got on the score sheet with a beautiful assist from Lukaku, which was a reminiscence of. It was very similar to Clarence Seedorf's assist to Kaká in the Champions League 2007, where he headed the ball backwards. It was almost an identical play. Back then, I think it was Nesta, long ball to Seedorf. Seedorf heads the ball into space to Kaká. Kaká scores. This time, it was Barella with a beautiful ball to Lukaku. Lukaku has a ball to back Lautaro Martinez, and then Lautaro Martinez gets a goal. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, Milan favorite here, gets on the score sheet. A little bit of a lucky goal, and Joaquin Correa gets on the goal, gets a goal too. But the stats... Let's look at the stats. So 55 possession for Inter, Spezia 45 possession. Total shots, guys, 19 for Inter, only 2 for Spezia. Shots on goal, 0.
That's crazy.
0 for shots on target. Handanovic didn't even need to be there. He didn't even need to be there.
They literally could have played without a goalie. It wouldn't have mattered.
It wouldn't have mattered. That's incredible. Out of 8 shots, 3 goals. Let's see the offensive stats. 89% accuracy. But look at Spezia. Pretty good, huh? 85% passing accuracy. That's not bad.
But you know what that tells me?
Yeah. What?
With that 80, can you go back to that ball possession stat?
Yeah. Here.
So even though Spezia have 85% ball possession,
accuracy.
Accuracy. My bad, accuracy. What that tells me is, even though they had great accuracy, they had no clue what to do with the ball.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once they got to Inter's third, I mean,
there's a lot of back passing and sideways passing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it was. Has to be. But, ball touched by strikers, 171 from Inter, 119 from Spezia. Ball touches by the midfielders, 334 from Inter, Only 268. So yeah, no, I think you're right. A lot of it was pretty much them playing it in the back and easy passes, horizontal side to side. They didn't. They weren't able to penetrate at all. At all.
It's good
Zero.
defense. It's
Great
good
defense. Yeah.
defense.
I think this was probably the most dominant performance of the. Well, maybe Napoli. We'll get into that.
Yeah, about yeah.
But this one and the Napoli game, the two most dominant performances from the Serie A teams. Let's get to the next one. The next one is wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Sassuolo Lecce. Mamma mia ragazzi, che golasso. Domenico Berardi with an incredible goal. Already contender goal of the season. A volley reminiscence of Zidane's volley in the Champions League 2002, I think, against Leverkusen. Similar, but not kind of similar. But what a goal by Berardi. If you have him in your fantasy league, this guy is giving you points left and right. I have him as my captain, and in these two games, he's given me something like 40 points. Just him. Something crazy like that. Let's go to the stats. I want to know what you think. 59 possession from Sassuolo, 41 from Lecce. Total shots on goal, 12-7 for Sassuolo. 3 shots on goal, 1 goal, and what a goal. What a goal that was. Did you see the goal, Nathan?
Unfortunately, I did not see the goal.
If you have the chance, guys, go and check Berardi's goal. It was out of this world. Euro goal. Contender for the season, for sure. Sassuolo with a very dominant performance. 177 ball touches by strikers. Only 118 from Lecce. But Lecce is not a team that we should be taking lightly. Not a bad team, Lecce, for sure. But Sassuolo starting to getting some good points against a team they should be getting points from. So this was a very good game from Lecce. Very good, very good. Anyway, well done to Berardi and well done to Sassuolo. Anything you want to say about this game?
No. I mean, Sassuolo is, they got to kind of rebuild themselves after losing, some of their key players. I mean, they lost Boga, they lost Raspadori, they lost Scamacca. So, they just need a little bit of time to get going, I think.
Yeah, for sure they do. They need a little bit of time. Let's see how they perform this season, because having lost Scamacca, Raspadori, Boga, and all these players, definitely it kind of tells you that they're weaker. But I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Time will find out. Time will tell us. Okay, let's move on to Empoli Fiorentina. Big game here for Empoli. Being able to extract a point from Fiorentina. This is the derby, by the way. 0-0. Another 0-0. So a bunch of yeah, you're right. From a very exciting first game to a second day of a lot of 0-0 no goals. Let's see what the stats look like. 37 possession from Empoli. So Fiorentina with very good possession stats. Alla Milan almost. 63 possession. Total shots 19, but only 2 on target. I do have Jovic in my fantasy team. Unfortunately, Fiorentina did not provide much as far as fantasy league. But these are 2 points that Fiorentina lost and 1 point that Empoli gained, I would say.
Yep. I think Empoli had a few last-ditch tackles, and even with the red card, they were still able to, keep their composure. So, I mean, that's a good game for Empoli.
Yeah, definitely a great result for them. Well done to them. And let's see who they had in. Okay, Parisi, guys. That way, Fabiano Parisi in fantasy is having really good numbers. So if you guys want to get a defender that is getting good numbers, this one is the guy. That's all I can say, really. But Destro, Lammers, Bairami, Bandinelli, Marine, Henderson, Parisi, Luperto. Okay, well, who did? So they started with Saponara, Jovic. Jovic has got me no points in fantasy. Icone, Male. I mean, they have a good team. It's not a crazy good team, Fiorentina, but it's a decent team. They did well in the Conference League. Did you see the Conference League game? What do you have to say about that?
No, I missed the Conference League game, unfortunately.
The 2-0, they did well. They did well against a good team, Dutch team. I think it was Vitesse, right? But yeah, they
Oh,
did
that's
well. All
good.
right. And they went through. So good job for Fiorentina on that. But let's go to this game. Maybe one of the best games, one of the most dominant performances of the weekend.
We need to
With
clip Larry, Roy. We need to make sure this gets sent to Larry specifically.
no, I have, you know what? I have realized that even if Vice Verasquilla wins 10 Ballon d'Ors, doesn't matter. There are people like Laird and other people in the chat that are going to still say this guy's crap because people are more interested in their own narratives rather than, you know,
Facts.
rather than facts. But anyway, Napoli, Monza 4-0. What a performance from Napoli. These guys have scored 9 goals in 2 game days. Even though you can say, okay, against Verona, against Monza, 2 of the smaller teams, but still, that's 9 goals. They hadn't conceded one. But the main story here is Vice Verasquilla. What a freaking player this guy is. Did you see his goals? Oh, yeah, you saw his goals.
Yeah. His first goal was just dynamite. Like,
Ma-
man,
Mamma mia. Dude, his first goal was incredible. The guy put it between like 2 players. Perfect shot, perfect weight of the ball, perfect height, right there where the goalkeeper can get it into the post. What a goal!
Napoli must be laughing at us because we were supposed to have this guy.
Yeah, yeah, for
We were
sure.
supposed to have this guy 100%. We always talk about, direct replacements for players, this and
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
This guy would force Liao to become even better, which is a good thing.
yeah. Absolutely, we should have had him. But also, what I've been thinking lately is that Maldini and Massara dropped the ball. They dropped the ball on this one, and the reason why I say this is because if we end up selling Leao, who at this stage of the market, which I don't think is going to happen, by the way, they have dropped the ball because what Milan should have done, they should have seen the signs with Mendes. Mendes is the next Raiola. Mendes is the next Raiola. We saw what Mendes did with Sanchez, right? Totally screwed us over with Sanchez. The signs are telling us that we're not renewing Leao. They should have sold Leao in the beginning of the session and got Vicha for 11 million, plus other 4 or 5 players.
We could have got this guy. We could
We
have
got
gotten
Nkunku.
Zaniolo. We could have gotten Raspadori and Kunku, Skamaka. Any one of these, any 2 or 3 of these guys would have
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. We could have done an incredible market, but instead we are playing tag with Mendes, who does not give a crap about Milan, who does not give a crap about keeping Leao at Milan. Mendes wants the payday. Leao. Honestly, another thing that I don't like what is going on with Leao is social media. Social media is pushing Leao out of Milan.
Yeah.
Milan fans are pushing Leao out of Milan. Renew, why aren't you renewing? Now that you messed up 2 games, now you are freaking Niang. Bruh, the same stupid people that put up these memes because he didn't do well in 2 games, as soon as he scores in the next game, that same person is going to put a meme saying Ballon d'Or, you know? Like, unfortunately, the Milan fans, not just Milan fans in general, they just don't. I don't know. It is what it is. The players have to be good, have to be strong, and deal with it. But yeah, I was thinking, dude, if we don't end up renewing Leao, we drop the ball because we could have had Vicha.
Yeah.
We
It's the same things that keep happening. Like, you can't keep losing your best players for free every single time. Like, at some point, you have to be held accountable. Like, plain and simple. And it is what it is, man.
Yeah. Anyway, September 6th is the closing, so that's when Red Bird takes over. Let's see what the situation is there. I guess Leao, Mendes, Benacer, all these people are waiting for that. But at this point, again, I don't want to be repetitive. Like, what an opportunity Milan has missed. 11, Vice Verasquilla, 11 million, and this guy's making 1 million, 21 years old. He's making 1 million a season, was paid 11 million. This guy's quiet. He has no interest in becoming Chelsea's superstar. This guy is here to work, and he's hungry to become a top player. Instead, here we are dealing with freaking Mendes. Wow. Anyway. But let's talk a little bit about Napoli, though, because Napoli's, at this point, Nathan, something that maybe, when we did the predictions like a week or 2 weeks ago of the Serie A, I didn't really count Napoli even in the top four, to be honest with you. But now with the new signings and seeing them play, I think they're contenders for the Scudetto. I don't think they're even top four. I think they can win it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you as well. I didn't expect after the departures. I knew some of the signings were good, but I didn't think that they were going to gel that quickly. But I mean, it pays off to get players early so they can get into preseason and hit the ground running. So I mean, yeah, man, these guys look like the real deal. I mean, this is 2 weeks now where they have 9 goals in 2 games. So nobody can sit here and say that their market was not successful, and they're not a real threat.
I would say they had the best market out of any team in Serie A. I put them at the top. Where do you put them?
Yeah, I put them at the top as well. They were smart with what they did. I mean, they also went and got Raspadori too, so they are kind of following our model. And because their scouting department is better than ours, I think they're going to reap the benefits at a faster rate than what we possibly could have. Um, and they're getting these young players. They're future proofing the present and the future for their team, kind of like how we're doing the same thing as well. But I feel like the players they are getting are also a lot more humbled than the players that we have. So I think that's a big problem.
Yeah. I mean, Raspadori, Vice Verasquilla, Osimhen, Lozano, Politano, Ndombele, Anguissa. Fuck, dude, that's a lot of quality. That's a quantity, quality, that's everything. Now, the question is their defender, this Min Jae Kim, who actually scored a goal. Is he going to replace Koulibaly? Koulibaly, huge player for Napoli. But remember, guys, Napoli last year, with the team they had, they almost won the Scudetto. They weren't that far. They had, in conjunction with Milan, the best defense. They only conceded 31 goals, just like Milan. We know that in Italy, the best defenses, 99% of the time, win the Scudetto. I don't think Napoli is weaker than last year. I think
I
they're
don't think so
stronger.
either. I
I think they're
think
stronger.
I think with the Kavicha coming in, I think he's actually has better output than what Insigne has had the past few years. So I don't think these guys are missing a beat at all.
Yeah. Uh, so, so yeah, I think I have to reshuffle my predictions as far as the Serie A. And also, one thing about the Serie A is that usually the MVP of the Serie A is the player that wins the Scudetto. Vice Verasquilla has to be one of the contenders as one of the possible MVPs of the Serie A this season. He has to be. If this is how he starts, let's see if he continues this way. But let's see how that goes. Anyway, let's go to the stats. 54 possession for Napoli, 46 for Monza, 22 shots for Napoli. Wow, 5 shots on targets and 4 goals. Incredible efficiency as far as shots on target. But Monza only 4 shots, 1 on target. And let's see the 89% ball accuracy, passing accuracy. Those are very good. Monza actually good too, similar to Spezia. A lot of that passing in the back, side to side, and nothing risky. Balls touched by strikers 196. Ball touched by midfielders. Yeah, totally dominant performance. Um, yeah, this is a good team. This is a good team. I think Monza, they're going to need a little bit of time to gel before they can get some points.
Yeah.
But I don't think Monza is going to be relegated. I'm hearing people saying that Monza is going to be relegated. Okay, I kind of exaggerated when I said they're going to make the conference. At this point, now that the season has started, I'm starting to have a better idea of who's going to finish where. Maybe, I mean, it's still very early. But I think Monza has a team that is good enough to not get relegated. Any words on Monza?
No, like, I agree with what you said.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's do Milan-Atalanta last. Bologna, Hellas, Verona. Actually, let's leave that one for second to last. Let's go to Juventus, Sampdoria. Juventus, Sampdoria. I saw the game. I got to say another 0-0, by the way. So what is this? The fourth 0-0 of the second day. I gotta say that I was very impressed with Sampdoria actually. The shape they had this very cagey 4-1-4-1, and it was very difficult to go through. They covered the spaces very well. Even though Juventus is the team that is not the most creative team, but Sampdoria looked pretty solid in their at home. So 47% for Sampdoria, 53% for Juventus. Total shots 10-10. 1 for Sampdoria, 4 shots on target. 1 for Sampdoria, 4 for Juve. And let's see this: 83% accuracy. The accuracy of the teams in Italy is pretty good as far as passing accuracy. 83% from Sampdoria, 87% for Juventus. These are good stats actually for the teams, saying that there is precise football. Precise. It's not sloppy football. It's precise football. Balls touches here, guys. Look at this: 118 for Sampdoria, only 95 for Juventus. Allegri ball. Allegri ball not paying off. The bright lights of Juventus were the two Italian youngsters, Miretti and Miretti and Rovella. Once they came on the field, Juventus looked dangerous, but it was too late for them. I don't even think Juventus deserved the win here. I think 0-0 was the right call, but Juventus lost 2 points and Sampdoria gained 1. What do you think about? Did you see this game?
Yeah, those fucking cunts cost me money. So,
Oh,
Juventus,
really?
yeah,
No way.
yeah. I knew they had injuries, but I figured that they could at least get 1 goal, and they didn't. I put like $50, so nothing. Actually, I put 100 on Juventus and Liverpool, and they both cost me. So yeah, fuck them.
But you also made some money, right?
Actually, I got like 1.5 tickets, but my overall loss, I lost like $350 yesterday. So not the best day, but I still got some money to work with.
Got you. All right, let's move on to the next game. The next game, Roma Cremonese. Man, Zaniolo is unlucky. Zaniolo with a dislocated shoulder, and he was looking good. He was looking real good, man.
Yeah, Roma is, despite the fact that they're not, people are going to only look at the score, but they didn't watch the game. The last 2 games, if Roma would have had, maybe just a little bit better finishing, they would be putting up numbers like Napoli. That's how many chances that they missed, to be honest. So I think once their scoring boots kind of, finally show up, they're going to be destroying teams. And like you said, Zaniolo, very unlucky.
Yeah. No, I agree. They attack very nicely, very fluid football, and they get to goal. They get to goal with ease, but right now, right now, I agree with what you said. Just in this moment, a little bit not so efficient in front of goal. But once that changes, I mean, look at this: 12 shots on target. You know, that says it all. They had 12 shots on target, only one goal. 27 total shots, 12 shots on target. They could have scored 5, 6, 7 goals. But yeah, right now their scoring boots are off. But anyway, Abraham is pissing me off because it's 2 days now. I have him on my fantasy and he's not delivering. But I know he will start eventually. But I'm going to keep him in my fantasy league team because eventually he will start delivering. And then Pellegrini got an assist from the corner kick, so he got me some points. And he's my vice captain in the fantasy league. But Roma looking very good, defensively very solid. Very solid. Smalling gets the goal from a corner kick, and Roma with a good dominant performance. But look at this, not very accurate. 78% accuracy. Cremonese a little bit more accurate. Cremonese actually didn't look too bad, but Roma. I'm gonna say this, and I don't know. I don't know exactly if I'm sure about what I'm about to say. I put Roma in the top 4, and Roma is still contender for top 4. Are they a Scudetto winning team? Because Napoli, I would have said 5th. I would have said Europa League. But now Napoli, I'm saying they're fighting for the Scudetto. What about Roma? What about Roma, Nathan?
I think the top 4 is going to be a very interesting race because you have like 6 teams who are really fighting. Maybe not 6, but you most definitely have at least 5 teams that are really, really fighting for the top 4. And I think Serie A is getting harder and harder each year. And I really don't see other leagues with this capability, to be honest. I I just this is exciting for me. Hopefully Milan is one of the teams, obviously, but this is really exciting.
Yeah, and it's true. It's 5 teams really that are going to be fighting for the Scudetto at this point. Roma, Napoli, Inter, Juve, and Milan. I don't think we have seen this in many, 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 many years. Again, when this happens in Serie A, this makes these teams much. These elevates the level of these teams because it's iron sharpening iron. And that means Europe. That means that these teams are going to perform well in Europe. I'm going to predict that Italian teams are going to do much better in Europe this time around because the competition in Italy is very high. But anyway, there goes Roma, Cremonese. Roma, no goals conceded, 6 points. 6 points. All right, let's move on to the penultimate game. Bologna, Hellas Verona. Bologna, the team that we're playing next. Another 1-1 draw. I think the 5th of game day 2. Marco Arnautovic gets his goal. And then Thomas Henry gets goal for Verona. Everything in the first half. Let's look at the players that we're going to be most likely facing on Wednesday. Skudowski, who is doing pretty well in fantasy, actually. So the defense is, I think it's a 3 or 4. Silvestri, Medel, Bonifazi, Ocasius. Yeah, okay, this team here is not a team that should make anybody's boots shake. But let's not get too overconfident and complacent because we saw what that means, right? 53% possession for Bologna, 47 for Verona, and total shots, 5 shots on target, only 1 goal, 3 shots on target for Verona, 1 goal. Let's see, possession, passing accuracy, very poor from both teams. This was a very sloppy game. This was an incredibly sloppy game. Both teams only 72, 71 possession. So this probably is telling me that Milan is going to have something like 60 to 70% possession of the ball and in this upcoming game. This is very sloppy. It must have been a war I did not see the game, but it must have been a war. 146 ball touches, 155. So Verona had more ball touches in the offense than Bologna. This is going to be an interesting game. There was a little episode with what's his name, with Pioli and what's the name of Mihailovic? Yeah, it's Mihailovic, right? The coach of Bologna. So Mihailovic told Pioli, I hope they were on TV together at the same time, given their interviews about their respective games. And then they had this little episode where the TV connected them together and were speaking to each other. And Mihailovic said, I hope the best team doesn't win. So implying that Milan is the best team, and he hopes that Milan doesn't win. But it's going to be an interesting game. Milan has to get the 3 points. Milan has to get the 3 points. There is nothing. There's no excuses. We are playing at home, and this is a must 3 points, because otherwise we're going to be chasing like headless chickens if we don't get the 3 points. All right, now let's go to Milan and let's stay with Milan, because there's also Milan news that we want to cover. Let's go to the match report. Of course, we all saw this game. Ruslan Malinowski with a nice goal, peeled off from the defense in front of goal. Nobody followed him. Then from the left, he got a nice assist, a one-time shot, deflection off of Kalulu, and Mike Magnan. He would have had that ball. He would have said that if it wouldn't have deflected. Lucky goal, but also Atalanta did do okay. Like, in their head, Atalanta deserved the tie, but I think we deserved the victory. We created more chances, we created better chances, we just did not convert those chances. Ismail Benacer with a super goal, beautiful goal actually, with a very nice hustle performance from Salamakers, and the Salamakers passing the ball.
Right, that's it from a corner kick.
Oh no, it wasn't a corner kick. It wasn't a corner kick. So Salamakers went to save the ball from a corner kick, and then he
I thought it was
went
a corner.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was a corner kick as well, but then I looked at it again, and basically it wasn't really a corner kick. He hustled to go and save the ball, turn around, gave it to Benacer, then Benacer dribbled across the player and scored a beautiful goal. So very, very good from Milan in that moment. Unfortunately, we lost 2 points, and Atalanta gained a point from a team that for them it's an important point. This is 1 point gained from them, 2 points lost from us. Let's go to the stats.
We are very wasteful.
Yeah, as right now, yeah, absolutely. Kind of similar to Roma, right? We're kind of similar to Roma, except we get scored on. Roma is not getting scored on. And I think this is where the arrogance of a lot of people came when they were talking about Roma. They're saying Maldini, Smaldini, Smallings, Mancini, blah, blah, all these guys are crap, all these guys are useless. But our defense got scored on 3 times already, with Tomori, Kalulu, Hernandez, Calabria, Mike Magnan, while Roma's defense hasn't got scored on at all. So, I think we have to be a little bit more humble now that reality is starting to come back to us. We have to kind of shake off the celebrations of the Scudetto and realize that it's a new season, new challenges. Nobody has won anything yet. We were the champions. Right now, everybody's starting from zero. There is no champions in Serie A. Everybody is starting from zero. We have that as a good memory. We're going to put it on the shelf. And we're going to go forward knowing that we are champions of last season and we have the capability of being champions. But let's not pretend we are already champions, because it's going to hurt us. And I think Pioli is being a little bit overconfident in his selections, so we'll talk about that. But anyway, let's look at the total shots. 11 total shots for Atalanta, 18 for Milan, 2 shots on target, only 1 goal, so pretty efficient from Atalanta, very poor from us. 7 shots on target, and we remember all of them, only 1 goal. Only one goal. Um, let's see. Passing accuracy 79%, quite poor actually from Atalanta. 86% from Milan, very good for Milan. 86% is actually very good. Ball touches by strikers, one almost double, 186 from Milan, 103 from Atalanta. Balls touched by the midfielders, 388. So Milan dominated this game. Milan was a dominant team, 59% possession against Atalanta in their home. One thing, though, that you can say, yeah, we are the champions now. Atalanta changed their game to play against us. Atalanta never used to do that, but this time they did. Atalanta used to impose themselves. Atalanta have their tactics and they impose themselves. But this time, Atalanta changed their game in order to try and counter us. And it worked. It definitely worked. So 1-1. Again, 2 points lost for us, 1 point gained from Atalanta. Any words you want to say about this, Nathan?
Yeah, again, we were insanely wasteful and very selfish. The one thing I noticed last year is that our players weren't that selfish. Like, man, Leao, Macias, that was just a disaster class from them today. Like, man, just look up and be aware of your surroundings and who's near you and what. The other thing I want to say about the tactical side of the game, about what Atalanta was doing, um, one thing I noticed, and this is a problem even when CDK came in, and people were saying, "Well, how come no one's passing him the ball?" But nobody's actually. Everyone's just following one player and where the ball is, but nobody is actually looking at the surrounding environment. Leao, Rebic, Diaz, Macias, CDK, Origi, Giroud. If you look around them, these guys are surrounded by 3 to 4 players at all times. You cannot pass somebody the ball if there are 2 players in front of them. It's just not going to happen. These guys are going to have to check in deeper to get these to break Atalanta's shape. But if you noticed, everybody was kind of just sitting there waiting for the ball to come to them instead of them going to the ball. So I think that was another one of our problems that I noticed. Uh, yeah, we dominated the ball possession, but we really didn't dominate the middle of the field. Um, so you combine all these things, it becomes very difficult to score, especially when your confidence goes lower and lower with all the missed chances that we had.
Yeah. It is what it is. Look at these stats, though. Interesting stats. Shots on target, Ismail Benacer had 2, Rafael Leao had 2, Oliver Giroud had 1, Hernandez had 1, and then you had the Malinowski 1 and Mario Pasalic 1. Beautiful save by by Magic Mike. Assist, Mele got the assist for Malinowski, while Salamakers gets on the assist sheet. Goal scoring chances, Ismail Benacer 8. I don't know what that means. Did he have 8 goal scoring chances? I'm not sure how they're counting that. But key passes, Ismail Benacer 8, then Malinowski had 3. Charles de Keller had that one beautiful pass for Tonali. Brahim Diaz had 2. Tonali had 2. And I think you want to put Theo Hernandez in there. They're not putting Messias's miss, but we can remember that. Look at this. This one is the one that I'm the most interested in. Recoveries, Davide Calabria is the player that had the most recoveries. So a player that is being talked very poorly about actually had the
Yeah.
best defensive performance. And I'm sure if I didn't point this out, people would still think that Davide Calabria had a very poor game. But this says otherwise. He definitely had the best defensive.
People want
Uh,
Calabria to play like Teo, and that's just if we had Philip Lahm on the team, they would still want him to play like Teo. That's not Calabria's game.
Yeah,
So
I think you're right. I think you're right
and
about that.
Calabria does get forward, but he does not need to get forward all the time. He goes forward when the right time for him to go forward is there. Not not just go there just to do it. It's not how it works.
Yeah, yeah, he had a great game. We have another guest here. We got Red John. What's up, Red John?
Hi guys, how you doing?
Great, great. Yeah,
Perfecto.
Red John, you came right at the end when we finished the whole review. So we're closing now. So guys, thank you for joining us. Love you all. Peace. Bye. See you next time.
Have a good one.
Bye. Anyway, Red John, any opinions on the weekend?
Nothing much. I just wanted to say that the stats look good, also because Atalanta parked the bus basically and only played off the counter attacks.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and that's something they
I think,
normally don't
yeah,
do, right?
yeah, exactly. So I think Gasperini learned from the previous three ass whoopings that they got. So they basically changed their tactics, and it seemed to work.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that a lot of teams are going to start to look at Milan being the champions. They're going to start to change the way they play. Before, Milan was this team of youngsters that nobody was scared of. Now people are being okay. I think if we allow these guys to play, they're going to hurt us. So we have to be more careful. It's going to be a more difficult season for Milan. More difficult season for Milan.
And
Right. What do you
it
think
usually
of them?
it's usually
Go
how
ahead.
it goes. Like after you win the
Yeah.
championship next season, everyone's gonna try harder because they're playing against the champions, and this is usually why it's always good for the winning team to reinforce and add some players
Something
which
new.
are I don't know which add quality and make it harder for the other teams to counter and to play defensively against you.
Yeah,
Did we
they
do
have the
that? Did
element
we
of
do that?
unknown.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That's all.
Yeah, we'll tackle that in a second. What's up, Nathan? You were about to say something?
I was agreeing with John about the. It's good to add an element of unknown, so teams are always having to guess. And then I was going to ask you. I was going to bring up the red card situation that should have happened but didn't happen.
Yeah, terrible call. Terrible. That was a clear red card.
Terrible call. That was a clear red card in my opinion as well.
Yeah. Right away, second game of the Serie A, the referee is already altering our games by not making the right calls. Obviously, if that would have been a red card, it should have been a red card. That was we still had about 30 minutes to go by the time that foul was committed. So
We would
30
have
minutes.
probably won. Yeah, we would
Yeah,
have probably
It was
won.
more than that.
it was more. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
should have definitely. They should have been a red card. And these referees, they got the VAR. I don't know. It was so clear. It's so clear. Like how can you not see that? How can you not see it? I don't know. I honestly don't know what to say about that anymore.
Uh, the referees in Serie A in total they need a little bit of an upgrade, not just for the obvious fouls not being called or not being regarded in the perfect manner, but also in the way they ref the game as a whole. Because you see in every game, especially in the game against Atalanta, I don't know if you guys noticed, but from the 5 minutes that they added extra time, in the end, we were only able to play 1 minute. The rest of the 5 minutes were people trying to I don't know delay the game, complaining, yada yada yada. Like refs have to be more strict with how they manage the game and how they manage the players.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The referees are even in the other games. Referees are stopping every minute. They're stop. It's like I remember. I think I can't remember which coach it was that was criticizing the referees in Italy, and we're saying the referees
Pioli,
every. Was it Pioli? No, I think
yeah,
this was many years ago. He was saying that every time the referees blows a whistle, he's like having an orgasm. Like they love to blow that whistle and stop the game. It's like even against Juventus, against the Roma game, the Milan game, like every single minute the referee wants to be the highlight, right? Stop. I don't know. They need to chill out these refs. All right, guys, let's go to chat. Let's go to chat. Let's see what chat says about Milan, about the situation. Now we're going to move on to a little bit of Milan news, because obviously there's a lot to talk about there. Kangoo with a big victory against Liverpool. Well done to you guys. Thank God. Now you can chill out a little bit. So this here, good comment here. Where is it? Where is it? I've been hearing Pioli could try Ali on the right wing and bench Diaz for CDK. I was saying this in the summer, that Pioli's best decision that he could do if he wants to keep the team balanced and have quality is put Leao on the left, CDK in the middle, and Ali on the right. Because Ali can do what Messias does and he can do what Salamakers does. Ali is basically a combination of Messias and Salamakers. The majority of Ali's goals and assists came from the right when he played on the right side. A lot of his, actually, I think, except for one assist in the first game in the training ground, all his other assists came from the right. And I saw that combination right away. I hope he does try it, also because I can pat myself on the back if it works. But I think it does work because Ali can give you the defensive cover, but he can also give you that quality up top that you need to break down defenses. So let's see. Who do you think is going to start, Rajon? What do you think the formation is going to be?
The way I see it is this, and I agree with Pioli for the formation he decided to put on the field against the Atalanta because I believe in meritocracy, and given that Diaz had a great game against Udinese and so did Rebic, both of them got the opportunity to start in the game against Atalanta. I think both of them failed in the game against Atalanta, so they have to be replaced. It's a matter of who's better at the moment, and they lost their streak. And now, in my opinion, CDK is going to start, and then on the right we're going to see Salamakers, in my opinion, because Messias also, in my opinion, had a not so good game. Even though Leao was the worst of them all, but Leao is also our best player, so I don't see him being subbed. He's
Yeah.
going to start.
Well, okay. I have a few things to say. I don't want to really start a debate, but I don't think Lau was the worst out of those three. Lau almost got on the score sheet with a beautiful shot, but he did poorly. He played poorly. We will both agree that he played poorly, not up to his standards. But out of the three, he was the least poorest of them all, I think. Diaz and
Yes.
Messi.
So Diaz and Messias, so you are leaving Rebic out. Rebic also had a stinker of a
Oh
game.
no, I'm talking about the attacking third. I'm not
Oh,
really talking about the offensive, the lone striker. But out of the attacking third, the attacking midfielders, Brahim Diaz, Messias, very poor game. Now I think you are right when you say that he's going to start Salamakers because I think it is the right thing to do. And I know nobody's going to agree with me because I know this community very well, and it is what it is. But I really believe that Pioli is being a little bit too overconfident, and the team is way too lopsided offensively. It needs to have a little bit more grit, a little bit more. In Italian, the word is called incontristi. I don't know what the translation is that into English, but essentially,
put players that run more, or players that fight more.
yeah, more fighters. We only had one, which was Tonali, and then we had one, two, three, four, five, and then five players. Well, but it says Regista really, and then we had all the other players were players that are good on the ball but not great off the ball, and I think that is not so good. If we go back to the last games that we played against Atalanta, I mean, we started that game with Tonali, Kessi, Krunic, and Salamakers. We started that game with four incontristi. Four incontristi.
But here's the problem, Roy, in my opinion. The problem is that this time around, Atalanta didn't come and play like a high line, super hyper aggressive, one-on-one everywhere, all over the field. They didn't play it like that. So you putting more in contristi or more or running players and players who don't necessarily have a high level of quality when producing something or you're trying to score a goal against a team that is parking the bus. I don't think that would be beneficial for us. So at the end of the day, against Atalanta, which park the bus. Basically, you need more players that know how to touch the ball more than players that know how to run. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, there's truth in what you're saying, and we obviously have the chances to score. But when you have all these incontristi, the thing is that you win the ball back in areas that are delicate for the opposition. So you win the ball back in areas just in front of the box or in the opposition's third half. You do that often, then you completely destroy the psychology of your team you're playing against, and you catch them off guard a lot, right? So even the last game we played, where we scored 3 goals against Sassuolo didn't really park the bus. They tried to attack. We pushed them. But we started that game with 4 incontristi again. Tonali, Kessi, Corinthians, Salamakers. And most teams play with 3 midfielders. 3 midfielders. If the team, the Liverpool, Real Madrid, Liverpool, there was 3 midfielders and 3 strikers, both teams. I think it's way too lopsided offensively. I think if you don't score, you're going to get punished. But also, when you don't have all these incontristi on the field, you're going to get scored on. You're going to get scored on. Because those incontristi don't just help you win the ball up top, but they also help you keep that clean sheet. The clean sheet doesn't just come from your defenders and your goalkeeper. The clean sheet comes from your midfielders too, that are destroying the game of the opposition. You cannot go into competition with only one incontrista. It's never worked. It will never work. Ancelotti never did that. He kind of did that but in 2000
Yeah.
he did that in the beginning. But at that time, Seedorf was everything. He could be an incontrista. He was doing everything. But when Seedorf started to get older, he couldn't handle that anymore. So he took out a striker and put Ambrosini in there as a starter. But you cannot go into competition with only one incontrista. It does not work. So I disagree with what he's doing. But I know that 99% of you disagree with me because
No,
all
but
you got.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I kind of agree with you, but I agree with you in the sense that when Pioli has to make the choice between Salamakers and Messias, he has to make a calculation in his head and think, if I put on Messias, I know for sure he's going to run. Maybe he's not going to produce any goals, but he's going to run and help defensively. If I put on Messias, the problem is Messias doesn't have the required quality to make me the difference and score me the goals that Salamakers wouldn't score, and therefore kind of this level the fact that I don't have an incontrista on the pitch. So this is the problem, in my opinion, that we had. We have the problem that we don't really have a quality right winger or attacker, and therefore it's better to not even play the attacking right winger when you can just have the guarantee that Salamakers brings that he's gonna help defensively. Because if you had a right winger that would score you a goal a day, you just put him and you deal with the fact that you don't have an incontrista on the pitch. So this is a problem. The problem is that Salamakers just doesn't produce that much offensively to justify the fact that he's playing. And Salamakers is not playing. I don't know if I made myself clear.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be Messias. It could be Brahim Diaz. It doesn't have to be Messias. It could be Brahim Diaz, the guy that you substitute. He's playing with fire. He's playing with fire by doing this. There's no teams that only play with one incontrista. No team in the world does this. So he's playing with fire. And last season, it never worked. Every time he did this, it never worked. As a matter of fact, when he changed his tactics, when he started more with Pioli needs to be unconventional. He needs to do the opposite of what most coaches do. He needs to start with a more defensive team and then finish with an offensive team. This is what he did last year towards the end of the season, and this is what worked, and this is when we scored the most goals. I'm not saying it has to be Messias. It could be Brahim Diaz. But I don't know. I don't agree with what he's doing right now. I hope he changes. I hope he changes his tactics, and I hope he puts a little bit more muscles in that field because we're going to get punished even against Bologna. Even if we're going to have 70% of the ball, the thing is that Bologna, if when they counterattack, they can go all the way to goal. Bologna is going to play their game. For them, that's their game. But if we keep Bologna there and they can't even counterattack us because there's no space to counterattack, they're always covered, then we're going to destroy them. I don't know. I'm not agreeing at all with what Pioli is doing right now, and this is my opinion. I hope he changes that. So I'm not saying it has to be Messias. I'm not saying that. It could be one of the two. One of the two. One of the two. Just give me two incontristi on that field to help the team win the ball in higher positions and keep the pressure on the team, on your opponents when they have the ball. I think this is complacency. I think he's getting a little bit too overconfident. But again, if Messias would have scored that goal or would have passed it to Tonali, we wouldn't be talking about this. If Leao would have scored his goals, we wouldn't be talking about this. If whoever had Tonali have that opportunity, we wouldn't be talking about this. But I think Adli gives you that balance, so Adli could be an interesting solution. I think I agree with you, Rajan. I think he's going to go Leao, CDK, Salamakers, or Leao, Diaz, Salamakers, or something like that. But I think you're right. He's going to be Leao, CDK, Salamakers. Up
Also,
top.
what's going on with Adli, man? He was our best player in the preseason, and somehow he's not even getting a single minute. Like, what's going on?
What's going on? I don't know. Well, I mean, he's still. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure we're going to see him.
Yeah, but you cannot even make the argument. He is not used to the team. He's not used to the tactics because he was literally the best player during the preseason.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure what I think is going to happen, he's going to start getting his playing time, and either he's going to mess up the opportunity, and if he messes up his opportunities, it's going to be really bad. But even I don't know. I'm not making excuses for Pioli, but even Kalulu was brought in the team slowly, and then once he got in the team, Kalulu was really able to solidify. But also the injury to Kjaer helped Kalulu solidify himself into the team. I think Adli, because he wasn't this big investment like CDK, and he comes from Bordeaux, which got relegated, they're kind of seeing him as a player that still needs to kind of, earn his badges. And CDK instead is a big investment. The fan, they have more pressure, and also CDK has Champions League experience, so maybe they expect more from him. But I think Adli, from what we saw in the preseason, he looks like he's going to be a very good player. I hope he puts him on the right. I hope he puts him on the right.
So do I. But the problem is, if he puts him on the right, it goes against what you just said right now. That we're gonna have an attacking
No,
formation, but without the contrista.
no, because he can do a little bit of both. He can do. He's more. He can cover the because he. If you look at his heat map from last season, like he covers pretty much the whole midfield. He does the whole midfield. He's not just a winger, so he can do what Salamakers does, but not as good as Salamakers, and he can be offensive too. Probably, but I think better than Messias, to be honest with you. When it comes to the assist, maybe not the goals, maybe the character, maybe better than Messias. I don't know. I think it makes the team a little bit more balanced. But I don't know. It's a little bit too early to be talking about Adli. Let's see if he plays. I think he is going to play. I don't think he's going to get Hagwade. I think Adli has personality. Hagwade didn't have any personality. I think
Don't say
so.
that unless you want to fight Nathan.
Nathan has already. Nathan doesn't care about Hagwade anymore.
About who?
Haugen.
Oh, Hogan? Oh, yeah, no, I don't really care. The whole thing about Hogan was just how he was treated, not about like him personally. Um, and that's the whole point. Like, if you're gonna give time to a youngster, then give all the youngsters who you think are good, give them time as well. That's all I'm saying. So like with CDK, if CDK doesn't have a good year, give him the same time that you gave Leao. Don't just give him, a 1 year and be like, oh well, I don't think he's gonna do well, so fuck it, we're gonna sell him. Like don't do that. That was the whole point with Carter.
All right, guys, let's do a little bit of Milan news now, and going into the second hour. Um, so, of course, everybody has been hearing about this Chelsea going after Leao, and a lot of us, and basically, this article here, which is what I kind of thought, and I think a lot of us agree with. At the moment, Milan have not received. Well, I don't know if this is at the moment have not received any official offer from the Blues for a Portuguese winger, and as per the report, it's also very unlikely that the RossonARI would sell one of their biggest talents and potentially their most important forward just 10 days before the closing of the summer transfer window. Exactly. Like this, if Milan does this, it's strange. It'd be very strange. That is because there would not be enough time to go back into the market and find a replacement of Lau's quality. The only scenario that could change anything is if Chelsea decided to pay the 150 million to trigger his release clause, but then the player would have to say yes. But at the moment, there's no indication regarding a willingness to do that. I think this is not going to happen. I don't
Well,
see this happening.
I can see it happening, but what I don't agree with is that there's not enough time to get the player that you want in the market. With that much money, we can go and get a replacement for Leao. Let's not pretend that Leao is out here scoring 15, 20 goals a season. So I don't think it's Leao is very good. I think he's going to be a top player, but let's not act like that we can't go and get another player that's just as good.
But right now, 10 day, who is available right now? Who would you get?
Um, Me personally, for the left wing, I would go for that kid from Almeria. I watched him again against Elche, and that guy is really good. And then of course there's also Noah Lang as well, but I think I would go for the Belgian kid from Almeria.
Okay,
So
I haven't seen him yet. I haven't seen him yet.
it's he's very impressive, very very impressive.
What about you, Rejo? What do you think about the situation? Do you think 10 days is long enough for us to get a replacement? And if it is, who would you get, etc., etc.?
But
What do you think?
like as a rule of thumb, I'm of the idea that you don't sell your star players, right? But that being said, if someone comes and offers to a poor Milan 150 million, I would take the deal. Sell Leao, even though it goes against everything I believe in football. But you sell Leao and you go to Napoli with 50 million and you buy Kvicha.
But now Napoli's not going to sell you Vicha, well.
Then you give them 60. And every time they say no, you add 10 more, hoping that they will sell him at 70 or something. Because this is how it goes. The problem is that we need money right now. We saw it in this Mercato, that even by winning the league, even by, I don't know, doing, participating in the Champions League, in the Champions League, even everything, we still are at the end of the day a poor team. And a poor team needs money. And after you get the money and you try and cover more positions from the money you got from only one position. So now we could have the luxury to actually buy a defender that we need, a starting CM that we also need, and a right winger.
Yeah, I agree with you, John. Like we could, I think one of the reasons why we move slow is because of our limited budget. I think if we had like an actual war chest to spend, these deals like CDK, yeah,
Because I understand that Liao is a great player and everything, but this Kvicha man, this Kvicha guy, holy shit, he is really good. He's really good,
yeah,
and we somehow didn't go after him, even though he only costed 10 million. How did we let Napoli get him? We were linked to this guy for 2 years now, and we still didn't get him. Like, this is the life of being poor, man.
Well, well,
every,
well,
every player we try to get, we offer 50% of what is value every
that's
single
because
time, and then we spend
that's
months.
that's because of our budget restraints. Though, like if we had the 150 million that we all thought we were going to have, or even 100 million, do you think it would still take as long to get these deals across?
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Right. Yeah. So like if you were to sell Leao, I don't want to. I agree. I don't want to sell Leao. But if in the event that we do sell him, I don't think Maldini would take 2 weeks to get replacements or strengthen the team.
Look, I mean, yeah, I'm hearing what you guys saying. I agree with a lot of what you guys saying. Maybe I disagree with finding a value of a replacement right away. I haven't seen that player you're talking about. Maybe he is good. But the one thing that I said this in the beginning of the stream, the one thing that bothers me is that if these guys should have been able to tell that this Leao thing was not going to work, and Leao wants 7, 8 million, and Mendes wants his big commission. They should have done it right away and gotten Vicha Verasquilla before anybody else.
Yep.
Well, it's again, it's about how serious that these guys are when it comes to these contract talks. Like if you're really serious about Leal and Benacer, then these talks should have been like just as important as getting Maldini's contract finished as well. And if these guys say no to what the club can offer them, then you sell them early on and get the money so we can enforce with a good amount of time.
Yeah,
The thing is that we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and understand that we have a problem when it comes to renewing contracts with players that aren't 100% convinced they want to stay. Because we renew Tomori, we renew Calabria, we renew Salamakers, we renew every player that is 100% convinced they want to play regardless of the money they get, right? We have no problem renewing these players. What we have a trouble with is renewing players that aim for more. They want more money, and that at the end of the day, we don't even sell these players. And we have 2 years of experience now. That if these players start delaying the negotiations, start demanding for more every single time, in the end they just leave for free. So uh, going 3 times in a row of making this kind of mistakes and not learning from it, it's not a mistake anymore. It's you are at fault for being stupid. So at the very least, you look at the guy that you've been linked with before that costs a very low amount, 10 million, and you buy him as a backup, even to, I don't know, to develop him and tell Leao that, listen, dude, we don't need you. We don't need you. You either renew or you're going to get sold because we already bought a player that we think is going to be able to replace it. But we don't even do that. And what we do is give Leao all the power in the negotiations. And then he starts the season feeling like a VIP because this is what I think. Like this past two performances, maybe I'm wrong and I'm over analyzing this thing, but I think Leao is just too overconfident right now. Like he walks on the field, like he's reminding me of the Leao that we saw 3 years ago when he first came. That back then we named it as him being a kid or him not being grown enough to understand the game. But right now we are seeing the same kind of behavior, even though he was chosen as the best player, the VIP, the MVP of the season last season for Serie A.
look, I think it's only 2 games in, and I'm not going to really criticize Lao so much. Let's remember. Okay, I don't want to talk about Laird. He's not here, but Laird wanted to sell Theo Hernandez because of how he started the season. No, it's the beginning of a season. These players, some of them don't get off to a great start. I think once he starts banging a few goals in, he's going to get back to his usual self. But there is something I want to talk about, though, which is strange because it does not apply to Benacer. Leao probably is confused in his head because he's playing for a club that does not want to give him what he wants, and then there's all these other clubs that want to give him what he wants. So I wonder if that is affecting his psychology. It's not
Well,
affecting
it's
Benacer's
affecting
psychology.
all of them. I think that affects all current young players in this generation because these players think that they deserve a certain amount of money after having one good year, and then on top of that, you start the new year playing like shit. So with the money that's being thrown around, players are not actually earning their paychecks. They're just being given to them.
Yeah, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't think he's going to be leaving. I think Cardinale, Big Daddy G, is going to take care of it. But let's see, let's see. I see this Senior Green says, what should another Italian team buy Onyedika for 10 million? He dominates. This one here is another one of the break hearts of summer mercato because this player is good. Onyedika is good, and I can't believe we can't get this player over a few millions. It looks like we have personal agreements with Onana, the Bordeaux player. Guys, sorry, I gotta mute you guys. Well, if you're not talking, please mute, and then when you talk, unmute yourselves. There's a lot of noise. The next player that it looks like we do have a personal agreement with is Onana, and it looks like Onana might be this elusive midfielder that we've been trying to get. Now Onana, was one of the players that Antonio was speaking very highly about, but he's a pure incontrista. Onana is a pure incontrista. He's a pure high work rate defensive midfielder, while Onyedika was a pure incontrista specialist in the high press, but also great technically, press resistant. Onana is a lesser version of Onyedika, so this one breaks my heart. This one breaks my heart, but I'm sure if he comes to Milan, he's going to be loved and he's going to have a great experience if he comes to Milan. At this point, I don't even know if he's going to come to Milan. But the Onyedika thing, missing out on Onyedika for a few millions, is bad. Even though the president of Midland said that Milan was after him and Milan wanted him, but the president of Milan said we want to keep him another year. We don't want to sell him right away. So Milan was playing hardball. Milan tried to do their best. Milan did not meet their demands though. Just over a few millions. It breaks my heart. What do you guys think about this situation?
I think Elliot gets the get the fuck out of this team as soon as possible because even though I don't really believe this idea that somehow Elliot doesn't want to spend money, and the guys that are going to spend $1.2 billion to buy the team, they have no saying on what's going on with the club and how much the club gets reinforced. I truly don't believe this. It does not make any sense to me because if you have already agreed that you're going to spend 1.2 billion, you must have some fucking impact on what's going on with the team 1 month prior to the window of the transfer window being closed and you actually officially being the owner of the team. You must have some saying. It makes no sense for them not to have any saying. But that being said, if it's Elliot's that's actually, I don't know, being strict with the money right now, 1 month before they sell, then it is what it is. Like we're not gonna get or spend any money this transfer window for any players that we need, but we're gonna have to settle for players that are cheaper. This is how it goes.
And I think Maldini. I think this was one of the things that they discussed in Maldini's contract. I think they told him, look, you'll get the power that you want, but you just gotta hold out a year until the takeover happens, and then I guess then you'll see if you get the money to spend that you want. But I think this was talked about.
Hopefully it was talked about because it's in my opinion. Even though we got CDK, even though we spent 35 million, for me it was a disappointing mercato window because I thought after 3 years we would finally fix the problem that we have at the right wing, or at least add an alternative, add more quality on the right wing, and at the very least replace Cassie. Because guys, I understand that people started hating on Cassie when he decided not to renew last season, but Cassie was a very important member of the team. Like he was a non-replaceable starter every single time if he was healthy. I think
I agree.
When Pioli did the list every week, he wrote Cassie and Magnan first, and then thought about the rest of the team. So just not replacing Cassie for me, it's a straight up downgrade. And I understand Pobega is a good player. Adli is a good player. Bakayoko can become good again. I don't know, but you have to replace. If you lose a star player, you have to replace him with a player of his quality at the very least, if not better. And us going for Onana, which to be honest, I don't know how this player is. I've watched some highlights. He looks like an okay player, but is he Cassie? In my opinion, not. He's not Cassie.
Well, it's going to
Um,
be hard to find someone like that. I think that's why a lot of us wanted to. Man, what was that guy's name? There was there was a free agent that everybody wanted that was a direct replacement. I believe his
oh,
name literally
no, what the
Kamara.
hell?
Yeah.
Kamara, yeah.
Kamara, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's a direct Kessie replacement. So, and the fact that they didn't act on it is just crazy,
He went
Another
to
especially when we were
Aston Villa.
losing him.
another replacement was Fofana, but look at this. We have a Chelsea fan. Look at what he says. Tom Bowley can still spend 150 to 200 million for the summer. Fofana 90 million. Bruh, you guys are morons if you spend 90 million on Fofana. Alba, I don't know who Alba is. 30 million.
Aubameyang.
Oh, Boomer 30. And Lau 80. No, Lau, if he comes, he's going to go for the clause, which is 150 million. But Fofana for 90 million?
Yeah, it's crazy. If they get Fofana, because the thing is, when I thought of Fofana, I thought, okay, we're never gonna spend 30 million on this player, right? Because this is not how we do things.
Yeah,
But
he's
90 million, like, are you fucking out of your mind?
that's like Maguire. It's a Maguire kind of operation.
Like Fofana is a good player. We saw him at Udinese. He was a good player, but he's not. He's not a great player. Like Fofana is a okay replacement for PC, but I wouldn't even be super happy if Fofana came. But
You,
90 million.
I want them to spend 90 million on Fofana because if they spend 90 million, they're going to think that he's a top superstar. Then they're going to realize he's an average midfielder. Blah blah blah, and it's going to make all these English teams weaker. The more money they spend on average players, the more weaker these English teams are going to become. So go for it. Spend 90 million on Fofana. Have a blast. Have a blast. And then the next time that people come up with the Super League, don't cry in the streets and say football is for the people. Football is for the people. No, you guys are. It's because of you guys that the Super League is going to eventually happen. It's because of you guys, because you want to spend 90 million on Fofana. Anyway,
Nah,
Yeah,
but
and
it's like,
these guys also throw this high money around because they know they're going to get their player instantly and they have the cash to burn because they're not looking to actually utilize all of that money. They're looking to they're looking to use only a fraction of it, you know? So when they go and spend their money, they can put 80 90 million for a player who's only worth 30 or 35 because at the end of their market, they're still going to have like 40 mil in the bank to utilize for other miscellaneous type things. So they don't care about that type of stuff.
but they are playing in a league that works like a machine. Like they are playing in a league that has already done its homework 20 years ago, and now it's getting the profit from the hard work that it did years ago. While
Right.
Serie A is suffering the lack of ability 20 years ago to get into the new era and to adapt
It's like
themselves.
complacency.
Yeah,
That's what it
exactly.
really is.
Yeah,
Super
we
complacency.
we failed to adapt with the times, and the EPL made uh, like they exploited and they understood how the future of marketing regarding football was going to be. So of course they are richer and they are living, so to say, a better life right now, while we have to struggle, and we deserve that, and they deserve
Yeah.
having
I
money as
mean,
well.
John, even after Italy won the Euros, wasn't there an article that came out that basically said that can you
Nathan.
hear me still? I don't know what happened, but there wasn't there an
Uh-huh.
article that said that Italy didn't want to give up their TV rights. I think think was it in like India or one of those countries because they weren't offering what they thought they were worth.
Probably. I never heard about it, but it could be.
There was something we talked about it on this channel a while ago. But these are the things that Italy has to understand as a country. Like sometimes you got to take a hit in order to get a game, and that's what the EPL did when they weren't the best league in the world. They decided, okay, we might not get the revenues right now for our TV rights and whatnot, but
Yeah.
in 5 to 10 years, we can.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
that's and maybe it's a pride thing. I don't know, but in Italy they
Your connection,
But,
Nathan, it's
yeah.
in and out.
But
they need
but
to get
but
people who are more aggressive.
yeah. But also, like, as soon as one or two Italian teams start doing good on the Champions League, the Serie A has to start self-promoting, because you cannot listen a single fucking press conference or interview of EPL coaches without them saying that we are playing in the best league in the world. Like every single
Yeah,
press conference. And
yeah, but
Serie A
but
needs to do that, but you cannot do that right now, because you cannot go out there and say you're playing in the best thing in the world while your teams are getting smashed every single
what
year in the Champions League. Left and right.
but what you can say, Don, is Italy is the most competitive league in the world right now. We have
Competitive,
the
yes,
closest.
but
We have the most. We have the best title race right now. We are
for sure,
technically the most exciting league in the world right now because we do
for
in
sure.
fact score more goals. But you see, but
I
these
agree.
are things that you can start doing to bring in the viewership. That's what the EPL did. The EPL, when they said
But
that
they
they were the
are.
best in
They
the
are.
world, they were not the best league in the world.
To be fair, if you have a competitive league, regardless of the level, and you are one of the top four leagues in the world, even if you're not even trying, you're gonna get advertisement, because you look at even channels who don't even have the rights to broadcast Serie A games, like ESPN, and even they are saying that Serie A is the most competitive league right now, because you don't know who's going to win the league. You don't know, like, when the league starts, there might be like 4 or 5 teams who at the end are going to be able to lift the
Yeah,
trophy. Right?
but here
But
maybe
but
Europeans know this, but outside of Europe, like in the
yes, but
United States, no one knows
no one
that
knows.
type of shit in the United States.
Nathan, because you don't have teams that do great in the Champions League. And as long as Italy does not have one, two teams, just like the Spanish league, just like the EPL. You need 2 or 3 teams which are there on the Champions League, and they are feared by everyone. And if you
I
arrive at
I
that
I
status,
agree.
then you finally have the rights to go out there and be like, we are playing in the best team league in the world. We can lose against everyone. Everyone can lose against us. Right now, we cannot do that. We have to increase the level. And for what has been what happened in the past, especially in the last 10 years, but you can even make it more than the last 10 years. Milan is also at fault of that, because Milan and Inter were not able to sustain themselves and keep the level high for Serie A. And this is how Serie A managed to become from one of the best leagues in the world into what is today the fourth best league, uh, uh, at least this is what UEFA says in their listing.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said, but they still need to be aggressive in what they do. So when I was saying like back when EPL wasn't the best, even in the Champions League, they were really weren't. They were just like an afterthought. In the United States, nobody cared that the EPL teams were not doing that well in the Champions League. They only knew one thing. They hear the EPL is the best every single day, even without actually watching. So when they go to watch a football game from Europe, they only care about one thing: watching the EPL team, because that's all they hear about.
True,
So I
true.
agree with what you're saying as well, but they need to be far more aggressive with word of mouth when promoting the league, especially now with that we have, yes, like you said, we don't have the Champions League, but we do have other factors that the other leagues don't have, and they are not using that as ammunition at an aggressive level.
All right, guys. Let's talk a little bit about some players. It looks like this one is official. This is not the report that says it's official, but I did see another report that said it was pretty much official. 17-year-old center back attracted attention of several clubs with strong performances at the U17 European Championship with Serbia. Giancarlo Simic is close to leaving the U19s of Stuttgart, and he's about to move to Milan. I think I did read somewhere that this is pretty much done. And they're saying in many ways the move is not too dissimilar to the one that saw Pierre Kalulu arrive. He signed for a development fee from Lyon, having not made a senior appearances for them. Simic hasn't for Stuttgart either, and has now grown into being one of the first names on the team sheet under Kalulu under Stefano Pioli. So very that interesting defender. I know that we lost a defender because we got one from Roma, and he had a problem with his eye, and now he's out for 6 months. So we lost a defender there. So yeah, and then there's this here that Eastbourne brings up. Tanganga was also very close again to Milan. Unfortunately, Ndika is not happening, so we're going to go for Tanganga. I don't like this operation whatsoever. But Nottingham Forest made 20 million bid for Tanganga and is close to agreement with Tottenham, but Tanganga only wants Milan, so we'll see what happens with that. And unfortunately, this is the extent of how exciting our mercato is. Any opinions on this?
I mean, that's the situation we find ourselves in due to lack of funds. So I think, yeah, I don't know. It is what it is.
But I don't even understand how on earth do we have this lack of funds? Like, how is that even possible? You won the league, so you got the extra money from the league. You got like 25 million. You got on the first spot of the Champions League, so that means at the very least 50 million, right? You got a new sponsorship deal with Puma, and that's another 30 million yearly. Like,
Don't forget selling Casa Milan as well.
you sold, it's not even Casemiro, you sold Haugen, you got 12 million from Haugen this season. So where do all this fucking money go?
Well, I think a lot of it is probably going to other salaries, maintenance. I don't know. Probably a lot of expenses, but maybe they just want to avoid this. According to the Times, sorry guys, there's a lot of noise. According to the Times, UEFA are preparing to announce sanctions in the coming month for 10 clubs who have breached FFP rules up to 2021, including Barcelona, PSG, Juventus, Inter, and Roma. UEFA are expected to hand punishments to PSG, Marseille, Inter, and Roma as part of agreement settlements with the clubs. These are expected to be fines for PSG and Marseille, and fines plus transfer restrictions for the two Serie A clubs. So I guess Milan is trying to avoid this. I don't know. Is this a positive or a negative?
In the end, nothing is gonna happen of all of it. They're just gonna settle on something less extreme, and nothing's gonna happen.
My question is, how come these guys aren't getting banned from European competitions? Or is that only an AC Milan thing?
No, Milan decided not to participate in the European competition.
Yeah, we did that voluntarily.
Interesting. I feel like a fine is just not really worth it. I think they need to be a little bit harsher. I don't think like, unless the fine is like 20, 30 million, it's not going to be, it's barely a slap on the wrist for some of these guys.
Like, when you are rich, a fine is the least of your concerns. We can actually go to a deeper conversation exactly on this topic, but anyhow, it is what it is, guys. It is what it is.
Hey Ray, please make a poll if possible to see what people think about our chances of finishing top 4. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a poll. Let's see. But I think one of the punishments that it seems like the Italian teams are going to be getting is the restriction on transfers. For some reason. Let's see. The Times reported today, blah, blah, blah. Juventus, PSG, Marseille, Inter, and Roma are involved, and while fines are expected for PSG and Marseille, transfer restrictions could be imposed of Inter and Roma. Of course, PSG gets a fine. For them, it's not a problem, but the Italian teams get restrictions on transfers. Well, luckily we're not involved in this, so we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to worry about it. I think these last 10 days of the Mercato are going to be a little bit of a wild ride for us with the Benacer and Leao, because we're going to go into, by the end of the Mercato, not having renewed these players, and it's going to start a lot of conversations, a lot of negative conversations about the situation. But September 6th is when Jerry, Big Daddy Mafia Boss G, takes over AC Milan. And I think straight on that day, one of the first questions that the journalist will ask him is, what about the renewals? And hopefully we find out something. But as someone wrote in chat earlier, these guys are dropping 1.2 billion into the club, plus another 500 million later on once they build the stadium, all going to Elliott. So these guys essentially have committed to a 1.8 billion investment. How the hell are these guys not going to invest in the players? There's no way. There's no way these guys are going to sign a contract that says, I'll give you, Elliott, 1.8 billion by the end of this, and still be cheap asses when it comes to the Mercato. I don't see that happening. I don't see a team putting 1.8 billion and then not putting together a team that is obligated to fight for trophies every year. I just don't see that happening.
Why 1.8? Wasn't it like they're just gonna spend 1.2 billion to buy 100% of the stakes from Elliott?
The contract is 1.2 billion at first, right, for the initial
Mm-hmm.
closing. But then once they get then the clause also states that once the stadium is built, because big part of what Jerry wants to do is build the stadium. Once
Yeah.
the stadium is built, they're going to put another 500 million into the bank accounts of Elliott. So
Interesting.
the commitment is a 1.8 billion commitment. How the hell are these guys not going to invest in the team if they're going to put their name on a contract saying that they committed to 1.8 billion? I don't see that happen. We have another guest here, Luigi Timpano. Ragazzi, come stiamo?
Hi guys, how you doing?
Very good, very good. Luigi Timpano lives close to the San Siro, I think.
Yeah,
What's the word on the street? What's the word on the street?
after the Atalanta match.
In general, Leao, the market, Atalanta match, anything. Go ahead.
Building the new stadium.
The new stadium, I think that it's a tricky situation, and I think that the stadium, we will see the stadium in 2030, in my opinion, because bureaucracy in Italy is so slow, and so there are several problems that need to be faced in order to start building the stadium. For the match against Atalanta, for me, it was a bit of disappointing because I think that we could win the match because the Atalanta, I think it was the worst Atalanta in 5 years that I have seen. And the feeling that I get from that match is that when we scored the goal, we were good with the draw, and we weren't trying to win the match. And personally, I get annoyed by the behavior of Leao that even against Udinese didn't play well. And I don't see the commitment of Leao. So it was very annoying for me.
What are they saying about Leao and his potential move to Chelsea in Italy?
I
What's
think that They are saying that we eventually are not going to sell him because we have like 10 days left of Mercato, so it's very difficult to replace him. But if, for example, Chelsea present a bid of 150 million and pay the clause, Milan can do nothing. So then it stands to Leao to decide.
And I don't think that's going to happen because according to one of the Chelsea fans that was on the chat earlier, said that Chelsea has a war chest of around 150 to 200 million. I don't think they're going to use it all on one player since they want a few more than... I think they want a little bit more than just one player. So I don't see this happening. I don't think it's going to be a problem. We got Saif in the house. What's up, Saif? We have the #1 EPL fan in the world, Saif. What's going on?
Nah, come on, man. That's Floki, not me.
Okay.
Maybe I'm number 2 or 3, but Floki is #1.
All right, okay. What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm good. I just joined. Maybe I missed a lot. I think I missed a lot. But just wanted to chat with you guys for a bit, I guess.
Yeah, we're just talking about Milan right now. Honestly, we talked about all the topics of the day. So if there's anything new, guys, you want to bring up, we have 15 minutes left to the end of the program. So if there's anything you guys want to discuss or want to talk about, maybe you can talk. Let's talk about the game tomorrow. What you guys are expecting. Let's start with Timpano. Signor Timpano. Ehi, Luigi, secondo te dobbiamo fare un programma in italiano, sì o no?
Secondo me conviene. Che...
Sì,
sì.
Anche secondo me. Secondo me un programma in italiano lo facciamo. Inglese e italiano.
Interesting. Then I will have to speak Italian, I guess.
Wait, do you speak Italian?
Ma certo che sì.
Ma parli bene o parli bene?
Non è che lo parlo perfetto, però lo capisco perfettamente, però lo parlo con un accento che fa cagare, a dire il vero.
Ah, guarda che lo parla bene.
No, veramente lo parli benissimo.
Lo parla molto bene.
No, è ok, lo capisco perfettamente, però lo parlo così.
Ok, allora faremo alcuni programmi in italiano e continueremo a fare gli stessi programmi in inglese. Anyway, let's go back to English. What were we talking about? Okay, Bologna. Luigi Timpano, why don't you start? What do you expect? And then let's go one by one.
I think that Bologna is an hard opponent, and I think that with the attitude that we played against Atalanta, I think that we are going to draw the match. So I expect a change of attitude, and also giving the players that belongs to Bologna. I think that we need more physical player, and I see the Kettler starting the match, and also Giroud starting the match. So we have a more physical team, and that's all. But I think that if there is commitment and will to win the match, we are going to win easily.
Who do you think is going to start on the right?
On the right, my dream is to see Adli, and but I think that Saelemaekers will start.
Yes, I think I agree with that. Not sure if you talked about, but after last forum thrashing of Benacer and Saleh, what a slap in the face. It is true. A lot of people are talking a lot of trash about Benacer in the forum. What about you, Saif? What do you think about tomorrow's game? What are your opinions? Would you agree with Timpano or what?
I just want to start with one thing, and this is what pissed me off. By the way, is there a lot of noise around me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me well?
Yeah, there's a little bit of noise, but I can hear you.
We hear you perfectly. See.
Okay, so like this is my problem with this league. I even predicted Juventus to win the league. I have no problem if we don't win this league. What I hate is seeing games with Atalanta. People say, okay, we missed chances. but there wasn't real football, man. Many of our chances, many of the times we couldn't even complete 10 passes. We had a striker who can't, who can't control the ball most of the games. One game he plays like Maradona, another game he plays like Fabio Borini, and I'm sick of that. I want reliable players. So that's the thing. If we're not gonna get a new right winger, if we're not gonna do that, we might as well just start CDK on the right. We paid 35 million. And what happened to Adli, man? He was the star of the preseason, and look at him now, not even catching 1 minute. So I would love to see Adli as well against Bologna, but most of all, I just want to see CDK on the right. I think we will win the game, but I want to see football. I want to see fun football now.
It is
Yeah,
interesting
Nathan.
that
Yeah.
that
All right.
Adley's not playing. It really is interesting, to be honest. I really can't find an answer as to why Adley's not playing even a single minute yet. Like, is he hurt or maybe he's sick? Like, does anyone have any some sort of information?
I'll tell you the real answer. Pioli trusted guys like Messias and Diaz too much, and they ended up slapping him in the face. Uh, the Atalanta game, not writing the players off massively, but the Atalanta game is a clear indication that these guys are not reliable, man. They will have this great game, but they will have this one of 7, 8 games playing like shit, like they did against Atalanta. So you spent money this summer. You have players that the fans want you to see starting. They are excited by them. They are hungry more than the players already proved themselves last season. So just start them, man. Just
Yeah,
start them. We have to start them.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
quick question. Quick question to Luigi. What are the Italian newspapers saying about Adli right now?
Can you repeat? I wasn't
What
listening.
what what are the Italian newspapers saying about Adli?
Nothing. It's mystery because nobody's talking about him, and Pioli didn't mention it in his interviews, and it's a sort of a mystery. And some I read that they are putting him on a diet so he could gain weight and playing beside Tonali or Benacer, but that's all. That's all
Yeah,
I
that's the
read.
same information we have over here. Yep. Okay, Nathan, what do you think about the game against Bologna? What are you expecting?
Um, I'm expecting us to win. I know we're all really pissed about the Atalanta game. We couldn't finish our chances, but the fact is, we did create at least three clear-cut 90% goal chances, with one of them being 100%. But we did create these chances. So uh, if we can continue, if we weren't creating chances, then I'd be worried. But we create a lot of chances. So it's just a matter of the finishers being focused enough to put these chances away, or not be selfish and notice that there's other players around you to, get the goal besides, you. So I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna win.
Nice. I like your confidence. What about you, Rajan?
What was the topic again?
Bologna Milan or Milan Bologna?
So we have to win. First of all, like there is no ifs and buts. We have to win. And I think Pioli is gonna tweak some things and change some things because, as we discussed before, I think the teams are starting to figure us out because we are the champions and we are. This is not like a team that you get surprised by anymore. Like they know what we do and they are going to try to counter us. Therefore, I think Pioli is going to start from now on utilizing the new purchases more. I think we might even see um Origi starting this time around, and together with CDK, I'm actually certain that CDK is going to be a starter in the match against Bologna, and we are going to win 2-0, zero problems, clean sheet, Kalulu and Tomori, and we're gonna start doing things right now.
Nah, if you freaking jinx it, dude, bro.
We're gonna lose. We are doomed. That's it. It's done. It's over.
One thing I'm noticing about game day 3 is that we have a game that we have to win because for the first time the other teams are facing the eight sisters are facing each other. Lazio and Inter are facing each other, so this is a game that maybe it's a tie, maybe Lazio wins, who knows? Most likely Inter will win, but it could be a game that Inter could lose points, Lazio as well. And then we have Juventus Roma. Again, both teams that are competing against us could lose points. We have to win against Bologna. There's no ifs and buts. We have to win. And then you also have Fiorentina, Napoli, two teams that are competing for those European spots between 1 and 7 that could lose points. So far, we have been the only team that has faced one of the 8 sisters now, not 7. And now the other teams are going to start facing these teams. So for us, it's a must-win. It's a must-win. There's no ifs and buts. If we don't win this game, it's going to be a tough season. Tough season already. We're going to be chasing already. Yeah. Any thoughts, guys?
I completely agree with what you just said. I think Pioli needs to go from being Mr. Nice Guy to putting his foot up people's ass. So if you play like garbage, sometimes the coach has to come out and say, look, man, we played like shit. So
Yeah.
if he gets in their ass, I think the team will respond.
And I'm sure the team also will. The players themselves must know as well. It's a big opportunity for them to get some important points. A quick question for Luigi. Luigi, what have you said in Italy about Vicia Veraschilia? Varadona.
He's
Ma che
phenomenal.
giocatore, che
He's
giocatore.
phenomenal. He shocked the league because nobody was expecting him playing like this. We knew that he was talented, but not at this level. I watched the match of Napoli, and he's a tremendous player. I think that we lost the chance to replace Leao with not signing him.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. 100%. All right, guys, listen, we're going into the last few minutes because I have to close, unfortunately, in a few minutes. Any last words you guys want to say?
What do you think about Fiorentina? It's disappointing for me right now.
Okay, honestly, Fiorentina for me is doing what I kind of expected them to do. So, I don't know. I mean, it's still early. But I think they're going to be fighting for 5, 6, and 7. So I think that's what they're going to be doing.
I agree with that as well.
Why has it been disappointing for you? What were you expecting?
Because so I watched the match, the first and the second match, and they didn't impress me. I thought that they will start playing well, but I didn't see a good, good performance. And I was expecting them to be like very, very strong for the beginning, because this was the second year with Italiano. But for what I saw in the first 2 matches, I didn't find the identity of Italiano in that team. So for me, it was disappointing. They won with luck the first game against Cremonese, and then I saw the match against the Empoli, and the Empoli was with 10 men from the 60, I think, and they didn't win. So disappointing.
Gotcha. All right, guys, last words? Anybody else?
Just one last thing I want to add.
Yeah, go ahead.
Every time I open the news, man, that's why I don't like the transfer window anymore. I just want it finished. If Leao wants to go, man, if he wants to go to Chelsea, he can go. I could care less, to be honest. The thing is, every time we get linked to the player, of course, like Sanchez, like Botman, all these players, there's an ending to every article. But the player wants Milan. It's like these players were supporting Milan since the day they were born, which I find really crazy, man. I'm sick of this news. Now the Tanganga only wants Milan. Do you think why wouldn't he go to Nottingham Forest? It's a team in England. It's a team full of history. Just came from the second league, and they have been doing good so far in the Premier League. So these news articles should be ashamed of themselves. I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's what I don't know if it. Yeah, sometimes it's not true. Sometimes it is. It is what it is. Okay, let's go to final words. Nathan, final words.
No, yeah, I completely agree. With what everyone said today. It is early days, so if we weren't creating chances, I think I'd be a little bit more worried. I'm still pissed, but as long as the team is creating chances, clear chances, not half chances, clear chances, then I think we'll be okay. But yeah, we got to be more clinical.
Yeah, 100%. Red John, final words.
Uh, I think in the last 10 days, or not even 10, it's like 7 now, of the Mercato, I think we're going to be able to get the defender that we need. And we're also going to get a center midfielder. I'm not sure about the quality, but I think overall we have a good team to fight for the Scudetto this season. And I thought Inter was strong, but right now I see some cracks in Inter. I don't think Inter is actually as strong as I thought they were. But even though they won 3-0 against Spezia, but this keeps me optimistic about the fact that it's going to be a close fight yet again this season, and we got a fair share or a fair percentage to win it again. For me, the most important thing is for Inter not to win it because I don't want those fuckers to get the second star before us.
Quick question here. You said you saw some cracks. Like this last game they played showed they're quite a
No,
dominant team.
yeah,
What do you mean?
exactly.
Yeah, if you look, Red John, Inter completely dominated that game. They're
Yeah, I
supposed
know, I
to,
know,
obviously
I
they're
know.
supposed to, but you got to
I
look
know,
at
but
how the team actually
mhm,
played.
What
true,
cracks
and
are you? What cracks are you seeing?
I say that again. I didn't mean that specifically for the game against Spezia, but I mean that in general. Like while I see Inter being a good team because they have good players, I don't really see a system in Inter. I see Inter even when they dominate the team through individual brilliance or through individual uh, performance, and not really a system. We have a system on the other end. So regardless of the player that's going to play, you are still going to get the maximum out of these players. While at Inter, I feel like if they start having one or two injuries, just like last season, they're going to start struggling because they are once again, in my opinion, going to start depending too much on Lukaku. And if Lukaku or Lautaro or someone gets an injury, which is just normal during the season, I think they're going to start to struggle.
Only Brozovic, man. If only he got injured, they're done.
Gotcha.
No,
Okay.
like against Spezia, like the way I saw it, I saw just Lukaku being a force of nature, and the Spezia defenders couldn't deal with him. But it wasn't like Inter was dominating because their system was so great. No, it was Inter just having better players and dominating because they had better players. Us, on the other hand, even though we have better players than most of the teams, we have a system. You could see that there's like something working like a Swiss watch there, right? Players know what they're doing. Well, at Inter, it's more like everything is more chaotic. I don't know. I don't know how to explain.
No, I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying. Luigi Timpo, last words.
Um, for Inter, I think that this year they will, even if they have injuries, they will perform well because they bought Aslani, that I think that is a good player, and he can replace Brozovic. And then they bought Mkhitaryan, that is a good substitute for Çalhanoğlu. And for, the attackers, they have four attackers, so Correa and Dzeko can replace Lautaro and Lukaku. So I think that it's not going to be like last year when they miss some player, they didn't perform, but they are going to perform well in every case. So I think that they are the team that for me is favorite to win the Scudetto. That's all.
All right, okay. Safe, final words. Go ahead.
Okay, let's start by this. Forza Milan, of course. Salonica's out still to this day. Diaz should perform like the first game. Hopefully he goes back to his one game wonder, I guess. And I think we will beat Bologna, but I want to say a good performance. That's it.
All right, guys. Okay, guys, listen, I really appreciate you guys being here. We did a beautiful review of the Serie A. We spoke a little bit about Milan. We had Luigi come in. Haven't seen you in a while. It's a pleasure. Now that you're a member, we always put the links for the members. So the members are...
Yeah, I was busy in this period, so I couldn't be part of the talks. So nice. I will be present.
Excellent. Nathan, Rajan, Saif, Luigi, thank you. And Hans, right. Hans, just give us your final words. I'm closing right now. Hello, Hans?
Sorry, what's the topic?
The topic is we're finished. We're done. So give us your final words.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Do you want to say something? Just anything you want to get off of your chest, and then we're finished.
Well, I'm surprised at how many goals Napoli are scoring already, and how Pitch's adapted so quickly. He looks very, 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 very special.
Yeah.
And we missed out big time with him.
Yeah, absolutely, we did.
I guess that's all I can say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can all agree on that. There's only one person that doesn't agree with you, and we shall not mention. We shall not mention.
You mean Kratos? Kratos, the god of
Cassano,
yeah. Oh, I love that kid, dude. Where is he? Lart actually won't be available much because he's traveling right now, so he won't be available that much.
Where is he going?
I mean, I don't know. He'll tell you. I don't want to give everybody his
location.
Yeah, right. So he's not going to be too present on the channel for the next few days. Anyway, guys, appreciate you all. Thank you for joining. We'll see you tomorrow. Big day tomorrow. Milan Bologna. Forza Milan. As always, to everybody, and have a great day.
Roy,
yes, go ahead.
The game will be on Saturday, not tomorrow.
Oh wait, it's Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was confused about that as well. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was like, what?
Guys, I had my schedule already. I had everything prepared. What am I thinking?
Damn. Roy, you must have a hangover from the game more than you thought.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. Okay, never mind then. So, how are we going to play 20 games 1 week at a time? How does that work?
Because the Champions League is going to start in a bit, and then we're going to play every 3 days the Champions League and the Campionato.
Yeah, right.
Okay, but for sure Thursday we're following the Champions League draws because that happens on Thursday the 25th. So I guess Saturday the game is on Saturday. Okay. Yep. So I won't be doing a watch along. All right, guys. Anyway, thank you everybody. Thank you for that information, Luigi. Grazie.
Nothing.
And I'll see you guys later on. Forza Milan to everybody. Alla prossima.
Ciao,
Forza
ciao,
Milan.
Have a
bye.
good one.
Un ciao.
Vincerai, non ti dai